Ta-da! All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing this this particular recipe. I don't think I've ever actually, let's see, do I make it jicama? Is that how it's pronounced?
That's how I pronounce
Okay.
it.
I feel like I've had that at a restaurant before, maybe, but
Mhm.
I know I've never made it. I actually went to the store and they had like some signs, and I wasn't sure. I had to look online. It looks like
Yeah.
a giant turnip to me, and they had a sign that said
Yeah.
turnips and jicama. I was like, which one is it?
Yeah. That's the one. Yeah, and I don't actually remember how I learned about jicama, but this is the one that I got, which is not as good looking as yours. And then also at Kroger, they will pre-cut it for you. So depending on the speed that you need to get something done. So I got
I've done
both of
that
those.
with yuca. Yuca is really hard to cut up, but I like that we're going to actually do it because that's part of it. In the US, we're so used to getting things I mean, at this point, you can get onions pre-chopped and
You can
like
get anything pre-chopped. Yeah.
anything pre-chopped, and
Yeah.
it's nice
And I
to.
will, when the jicama is not when it's pre-chopped, when it's cut up for you, it will go bad so fast. It gets
Okay.
this layer of slime on it. If you put lime on it, it helps a little bit, but for the
Oh,
most part, no.
similar to potatoes, where you have to put like an acidic,
Oh
like
yeah.
juice or vinegar, or keep it in
Okay.
juice or vinegar water, and then
Right.
it. So, do you remember? You said you don't remember how you started doing this. What makes you keep?
Well, I don't remember how I found out about jicama, but
Okay.
I keep getting it because it's got, I don't really do potato chips and things like that anymore, and it's got a nice crunch to it. Um, and I mean, you can only eat carrots so many times as a healthy snack before it's like, ugh, no more. So I really like the jicama for that, for just like a to-go snack. But then also doing, it doesn't have a ton of flavor to it. So when you put spices on it, what you get pretty much is the spice that you put on there,
Okay.
as you see.
Maybe
And I
that's
think
why a lot of people like potatoes. They think they don't have much flavor.
right. Yeah, probably so. Yeah, so it definitely does not taste like a potato. So, but it has like, we're making the French fries, so you can use it instead of potatoes as a healthier option. Don't know what the nutrients are in there, but it's a healthier option. So we're doing that, and then we'll do the burgers too. Probably we'll have time. I will say, if you are cooking with us, to go ahead and put your oven on to 400. I'm gonna go put mine on.
Oh, okay. We're gonna. Then
Are
we're
we
gonna
just
bake
prepping or are we cooking?
both.
Okay,
So, which one are we going to be putting in the oven?
both will go in the oven.
Oh, okay. It's like, so I have a gas stove here, but it's been
Sure.
just slightly over a year since I've used the gas top. I've been using this induction. So
Nice.
if you want to talk, it'll take me a second to light the pilot light
Sure.
in the oven. So
Should I go ahead and start the
yeah,
peeling, since it'll take a minute?
yeah,
So I
go.
think it peels like a potato, but a little harder, maybe more like a turnip. This one is a little, takes me forever to peel.
So are you just using a little paring knife, or have you tried the scrapers for like carrots and?
as scrapers for carrots, you've got to have a massively powerful one for that. And this knife isn't strong enough. I'm actually going to cut this in half.
Yeah, because I got this one. I always called it European style, where it's like you can pull it towards you. Oh, that's really easy.
Is that working on yours?
So it's one, instead of it being on the side where you go sideways, this one is you just, you can see you can pull it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm getting distracted. I need to get that oven going.
Yeah, those peelers are good for shaving hard cheese also.
What do you think's the reason you use the oven instead of, well, I guess then you wouldn't have to fry it, huh?
No, and then you don't have to think about it. You don't have to look at it. It just cooks. I feel like when I use on the stove, I have to be more attentive than when I put something in the oven. Yeah, this was all they had for the whole ones.
Yeah, when I originally went to the store, they had a sign there, but they didn't actually have any.
Yeah,
I went to a couple stores, they didn't have it. And I went back to the international store and they had got a deliveries.
at the international store they have it sometimes.
I got this at a place, yeah,
Fresh.
sometimes they do. I got this at a place called Fresh Foods. They only
Yeah.
had 2 of them though, so
Wow.
I almost got both of them, but I was like, this is half as big as my head.
Yeah, it's enough. So for the one that's full, so I'm done with mine. And I'm gonna make a bunch of them, so
So was that easier that you said to cut it in half and then peel it?
it is easier for me. I don't know if it's the size of my hand or
Oh man,
what.
the texture of this is much more dense than a potato.
So for the pre-cooked ones, rinse it off, get some of that. There's usually a little bit of shaving in there. At least the ones here. I've gotten them at Whole Foods, that's the only other place. But I found them pre-cut and they tend to be a little cleaner and neater at Whole Foods. Let me see if I can show. Let's try this. I don't know how much you can see. Anyway, I don't wash my hands. So the ones that are from the whole one, you just cut them French fry like. Makes a bunch. They're gonna have plenty or. And if you do kind of the side by side, usually the ones that are pre-cut are a little bit more yellow. Just because they've been sitting there.
I'm on my knees trying to light the stove. It's not wanting to light.
It's not letting you light.
Yeah.
You could probably do it stovetop. I just never have.
There we
No
go.
guarantee.
I think this would be one of those things that, what is the new fad now? Air fryer.
There you go.
Like you can air fry everything.
I know. I have not gotten to that yet. So I cut them about this big. A little bit smaller than your finger. Than
Does,
my finger.
does it stay good, pretty good at once you make them? Or that you always have to make fresh ones?
I don't know. I've never not eaten all of them.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna eat all of these, so I'll let you guys know. Because this is a big one.
Yeah.
Although
They go down really easy, at least for me they do. Okay, so I got my biggest pan. I need space on my cutting board, so I'm gonna. You see the pan? Yeah, put them in the pan. I use parchment paper. Cause aluminum foil's got some stuff in it.
try to keep less aluminum in your life.
What?
Trying to keep less aluminum in your diet.
Yeah. The pan, I got the biggest pan I could for this. Cause. Yeah. I did find out Don't put it on while the oven's heating, put it on after it's heated, because otherwise it does uneven. So I'm just gonna put these in a big, don't spread them out yet, put them in a big lump in the middle. Ooh, oh, I missed this one.
So that you're doing that to make sure they all have a good coating of oil on them?
Yeah, that'll be later. So when I cook, I try to make everything as easy as possible and dirty as few plates as possible.
Oh, I thought you said as dirty as possible. I had to.
Okay. So the pre-cut ones usually need to be cut a couple times. These will not get as crispy as potato French fries. At least I haven't figured it out. Maybe
They
when you
won't get as
cook
crispy?
what?
You said they won't get as crispy?
No, I don't think so.
Because they're definitely crispier than like,
Yes,
so they cook
when they're
soft.
raw.
Okay. Now, is this something you can eat raw?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna taste it. Let's see. It's slightly sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a really good taste.
Mm-hmm.
It has a really good crunch to it. I mean, it literally makes me think of like a very, very mild carrot.
Yes.
But cut that one piece.
Definitely one of my go-to snack foods.
I think I'm gonna keep. I'm just gonna cut. I'm gonna just fry half of this, and I think I'm gonna toss this other half. That was so good. I think I'm gonna toss it. I don't know, with maybe a little Italian vinaigrette and like a salad.
Sure.
That's really tasty.
Oh yeah, that'd be really good with a vinaigrette. Put it in a salad.
Yeah, I've been doing that lately. I've been buying greens at the farmer's market and then just cooking them in a light vinegar olive oil. In that, I'm not cooking them; they just soak in it, and the marination makes it softer. I'm already liking this better than potatoes. I can snack on this while I'm there.
Yeah, for sure.
But pretty. Yeah, besides, I think only half of it was enough to fill up the one tray, unless I do 2 trays. How do you cook?
Nice.
You're cooking the fries and the meat in separate trays or the same one?
Yeah, 2 separate trays.
All right.
I like to eat healthy, but I also don't have time for a lot. So these are kind of my shortcuts. Now for the spices for this, I can't remember exactly what we put on the list. We talked about that. I have paprika, cumin, cinnamon, garlic powder, salt, and pepper.
Cinnamon.
Yeah,
We don't
gives
usually.
it an extra little yum. What were you saying?
Oh, it's in, Western cooking, we don't tend to think of cinnamon as a savory.
Mm.
But I think I really like a garam masala, which is very cinnamony based. So,
So to keep it simple and without wasting a bowl, I have everything piled up in the middle. And then I just pour some olive oil on it. To coat it. That should be done. And then. I just put I have some sea salt here. And I don't measure. This one is garlic, and I love garlic, so I don't think you can do too much garlic. Then a
I
little-
highly
little bit of
recommend
cumin.
get roasted garlic. It
Yeah,
it really increases the flavor.
yeah. So I did some cumin, just a little cumin, and then the paprika, I never noticed has too much flavor, but it makes it nice and red. And then just a little bit of cinnamon, not too much.
Very, very light on the cinnamon and paprika.
Yeah. And then that's,
That cumin too, right?
yeah, that's what it looks like pre-mixed, and then I don't wash my hands.
Oh, where's my cinnamon? There it is.
Front and back, because they're gonna get dirty. We're gonna get covered in olive oil and spices. And I just mix it up. From the middle. Try to get everything covered in the olive oil. And then after the first time baking it, you might find that like, I sometimes like them thinner because those are the ones that do get browned. And because it's an olive oil, I wouldn't do the temperature over 400 because that'll make the oil not as good for you. My understanding is that it hydrogenates it. And then, when it's all covered, spread it around.
And I don't know. I don't think you need to even fry these. All right, let me find a small
Oh, you mean just eat them like they are?
one. I tried it.
Is it good?
It has a really nice crunch to it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely doesn't have like the, what you would think of as a, French fry,
Mm-hmm.
which tends to be crispy on the outside and
Soft on the inside, yeah. So some of these I missed. Where did it go? There's a big one.
yeah, me too. I'm recutting a few.
Now I don't see it. I had a really big one I found. I thought.
I guess you just cut them whatever size you prefer your fries to be.
Yeah, these I like a little bit smaller because they kind of get crispier. I don't know that they'll be done within the hour. We'll see. We'll see where they're at. You can leave it in longer. There it is. There's that big one. It's kind of big.
I think I found a new vegetable.
Yay! That's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. They're kind of all flat. If they're on top of each other, doesn't work out as well, I don't think. But I'm gonna go put mine in the oven and then we can start on the meat. Or whenever you're ready. Looks like you're almost there too.
Oh yeah, that's part. I'm just cutting the rest up for,
Okay,
I guess, salad later. Because yeah, it was like half of mine filled up one baking tray.
there you go. Okay, and this is how I do burgers. Cause I like
So how
everything.
long do you put it in the oven for? Just, I mean, technically, you could quite literally just warm them up because they're,
Yeah,
you can eat them
they
raw.
will get brown. I like them when they're all browned. And I honestly never timed it. It's probably 45 minutes or an hour, I think. We'll see. I go by my smell. When it smells done, it's done.
All right.
or when I can't take it anymore and I'm hungry.
Yeah. But that's kind of the nice thing about it is because you can eat this raw,
Yeah,
just you could eat it at any time.
sure.
You don't have to wait until it's perfectly done.
All right, you want to see mine? Mine's a little different.
Yeah.
All right,
Ooh.
so I used, we've got regular daikon radish, purple daikon radish, and watermelon radish. And I used a different recipe because as as Or knows, I tend to do that. And I put instead oil, chili paste, tamari, sugar, and salt. So
That
I
might
think
that
that'd be
would
interesting.
you put a lot of moisture in it though. That would add a lot of cooking time. No.
I don't know. We'll find out. It says the recipe says 40 minutes.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Now the
Okay, so
I just realized I forgot to put salt on mine, so that will make mine cook longer too.
yeah. So I have the egg for if the meat that I was gonna cook was less fatty than the one that I have. So if yours is grass fed and it's like 10% fat or not very much fat, you can put the egg in. The brand that I usually use was not available, so I got another one, which will be too moist if I put an egg in. But in order,
This one says 15%. So.
yeah, mine's 20. 15% would be on the on the line, so I would go by feeling for that. Is that 15%? You could probably use the egg. I don't put like a lot of when I first learned how to make burgers, you add the breadcrumbs, and so or some kind of starch, flour or potato flour. So this is the way that I do it so that I don't have to do that. And it works out just fine. Little bowl for mixing it. So for the flavor, I'm just gonna put the flavors in first. Lots of pepper. And then, or you're right, fresh garlic is better, but this is my save time recipe, get it done fast. So I put the garlic in there and I'm not putting anything else in there.
Let's see. So you said I can put fresh garlic?
If you want to,
I rarely have fresh garlic because, but I have a few here. But yeah, I usually use I've got this roasted garlic.
yeah, that would probably work. I'm sure that would work well. So I have it in there and that's all I do is the spice and the meat. And this one's 20% fat, so it's 20% fat. Wash my hands again because they've been over everything.
You said you don't put any binder. The fat is the binder.
I don't know what the binder is, but yeah, I think the fat is the binder.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of recipes they like add, like you said.
Yeah,
Bread, I don't know, something flour or some kind of.
yeah, but and they put the egg in plus the binder, but I think if you have the egg in, you have to have a binder too. So I'm mixing all the flavors in. And then, can you see I just have a glass pan here that I'm gonna put it in.
Put the parchment paper down on that one. You put parchment paper down on your pan for this one or no?
No, because it's glass.
Oh, okay.
If it weren't glass, I would put parchment paper down.
So for my metal one, I should.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just looking to see if I can see any clumps of spice, and I don't. So from this, I'm going to make,
Oh, there's a clump of pepper. I think you said that. I suppose you could just lay this out like as one big thing, more like a meatloaf on there.
yeah, I bet you could. And all I do. Oh, I just touched the dishwasher. All I do is I ball them up and then flatten them.
How many
I mean,
things do you typically get from like a pound?
3 or 4. Right now I'm gonna do 4. I might do 3 because I don't know if this pan will take. No, I'm gonna do 3.
Otherwise, you can just do
Just because of the way the pan is set up.
one big one.
Yeah, it's like food prepping for the week. I mean, you could get technical and weigh it all, I guess.
But you,
I tried
so
to-
the fries, you say that you never really get them stored, but
They don't make it.
but the burgers you're making, enough for a few meals.
Yeah. 3 meals. And so sometimes when I do the burgers, I'll take them out before they're done. And then the ones that are mostly cooked, I'll put those in the fridge and save those. And then keep cooking the other one.
Yeah, I've heard of people like, getting like 10 pounds of meat and making a bunch of burgers and freezing them.
Yeah,
I was wondering if you could bake a bunch of them and then just, freeze them already pre-baked.
yeah. That's pretty much it. Time wise, again, maybe 15 minutes. I really don't know. I let my nose decide. So I'm gonna go ahead and put mine in the oven.
Now, you have a preference on, I think the jicama fries probably put on the top shelf or does you have a preference on what shelf?
No,
So now you
I
can,
put the jicama lower simply because they have more oil on it. And it'll splatter out more. But then, like cleanup, so easy. A little bowl.
I'm cleaning up the leftover jicama. I just keep eating them.
Yeah,
All right. So far, I put a little olive oil on. I don't think it needs. But the beginning of my salad,
there you go.
but yeah, I've had like these mild yellow carrots, and it really reminds me of those, or white carrots.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, while we're waiting, do you want to talk a little bit about what made you start trying to cook healthier and like, or that we didn't talk about doing this ahead of time, but
Mm-mm.
we now need
Yeah. I just healthy eating keeps me healthy, right? So and part of the pain of healthy eating is there's a lot of really complicated recipes out there. Like there's a lot. Like you go to the healthy websites and the
recipes period are complicated.
they're so complicated. And I'm like, I approach it as food is medicine. So
Yeah.
if I'm eating food closer to how nature made it without man-made interference with chemicals and all the interesting things they do, then I'll be healthier. So things like the grass-fed meat or just fresh vegetables, I mean, of course, organic and all that would be better, but it's like they're fresh, so that's good. And then part of it is how can I make it as quick and easy as possible?
Yeah.
For myself. Because I'm like a lot of people, I'm super busy. I don't have time I don't have the luxury of the time to work through recipes and all that. And I'm like, okay, food is medicine. I got to get this medicine in me. If it's gross, I'm not going to eat it. So I got to make it as tasty as possible. And so, for me, how we did the jicama is how I do a lot of cooked vegetables, where it's like, yes, you're like we had talked about, I can't remember if we were filming yet or not, but that in the US, we have a lot of pre-made prepped vegetables. And those are really great because you can just turn on your oven, throw them on the pan, and then stick them in the oven.
Yeah.
Put a couple spices on there. Asparagus, you just put it in olive oil, you put your spice on there, salt, pepper, garlic, whatever, stick it in your oven. That's really easy. It just takes a few minutes. And then for the meat, it's the same thing. I'm like, wow, burger recipes are so complicated and they can be so fancy, but the key I found is just change up the spices. Because meat is meat is meat, right? Like, how many different ways are there to eat lamb or beef or chicken? And so I found it's a lot easier if I just take my spices out. And we were talking about how, like, when I scheduled with you for this, I was on a cumin kick, which I'm not on my cumin kick anymore. So I was like, what spices did I say? Right now I'm on an Italian spice kick. And that's a really easy one because you have the Italian spices that are pre-made. And
Yep.
so you can just put that on everything and just throw it in the oven. So that's kind of how I got into this way of cooking, where it's just,
I'm just on a spice kick.
yeah, there you go.
It's like,
Yeah, you can do it. You can do anything.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably say the 3 spices I like are like Thai, Indian, and Italian. And somehow I manage to mix all 3 of them sometimes.
Nice.
Like, really, I don't know. Is it fusion or is it schizo? I don't know, but it's just like,
We'll call it fusion.
what do you like that day?
Yeah.
Yeah, growing up, we always had the mentality in my family, spend good money on good food so you don't have to spend bad money on bad health care later.
Yeah.
So food is medicine. Try to have good whole foods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one I like to say is pay the.
I want to be honest with you. I have a little anxiety that this is out of sight in the oven, though. Like, I really like to see things cook, but I do like it because if we fried these, you'd need like this much oil in a pan,
Mm-hmm.
but you have the interaction of, I don't know, frying it. But this, I started working through my anxiety of baking stuff, and definitely instead of stir frying vegetables, you just toss them with a little oil and your spice of choice and put them 15-20 minutes in the oven, depending on what vegetable.
Yeah, depending on what it is. And sometimes like I wrote a book called 4 Ingredient Recipes, and everything's at 350 degrees on there because, yeah, good luck burning it before you smell it. Right? Like, it's like, because usually I would do this, put it in the oven, and I'm off doing chores or working or reading, relaxing.
I always set the egg timer because I always forget. Always. I'll be like, okay, now, like, if I put something in the oven like this, yeah, I would go start doing something and forget until, one time.
That's happened, yeah.
Well, I've done it the other way around where I've shut the oven off and then it needed to cool. So I left it in there. And then 4 days later, I remembered.
Mm.
I've done that once, only once, but I don't know. So
I've done that where I leave it in and I forget about it till the next morning, but I'm okay with that.
It's just like, so,
I'm like, oh, stick it in the freezer. It's like, it's fine.
all
Some
right.
people are like, what? Yeah.
I guess that's pretty much it, unless we want to stick around and, I mean, we'll stick around, but we don't have to record.
Okay.
Just take pictures
Um,
of it when it comes out.
Should we just take I can do like a quick look-see about what it looks like so far?
Yeah,
before
and
we
then you
sign
can
off?
tell me like if you have preferred ways of, eating this with other stuff.
I'm so basic in it. Oh yeah, this is looking good. So here's where my jicama is cooking right now.
Oh, they're already getting crispy.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be another 10 or 15 minutes
Yeah.
for those, so that'll be nice. And then,
Oh, my kitchen's starting to smell so good. I can start to smell.
yeah,
Do you flip them at all or turn them?
rarely.
Okay.
And then the meat. Yeah, the meat's just baked meat.
Yep.
So those are about ready to come off. And then the outsides are cooked a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could eat anything with it. Burgers are burgers. You can eat whatever you like with it. I have the jicama fries, I just like them by themselves. I don't like them in anything. So
But I am really excited that I got a new vegetable that,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've heard of them before, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I've ever actually ate them except as fries in like another country.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one just happens to be very, very fresh and crisp, and I love the texture.
I've never had a bad one. Even that one that was ugly looking that I cut up, it was good. Yeah. Good. I'm glad.
Awesome. Anybody have any final questions? Otherwise, thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, if you think of another simple recipe you'd like to share, let us know.
Okay, thank you. It was
Sometimes
really
we like
fun.
people to come back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun.